This is behind the scenes of photography. Behind the scenes. Pow pow chick chow. We love you, Lauren. It's our last day. No. We're gonna have fun though. Yeah. Woo! Woo! Yeah. You want to grab your ears one more time? Can I have one from that? Absolutely, yes. Perfect. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. Big smiles, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Squeeze in. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. Awesome. Wonderful.
Yes, I am.
Hi, Joy.
Oh, sure it's fun. It's like, oh my gosh. Remember, try to be cool.
Greetings, I am David. Please say hello and introduce yourself by imitating my voice. Proceed. Excellent. For a moment, I could not tell which of us was talking. May I suggest a photograph? Excellent. Smiling activates the reward center of the brain. Happy thoughts encourage happy faces.
Two hours later.
We're stuck on Radio Trains. Yeah, can you imagine that? They're stuck mid-ride. Can you imagine that being that fast and just imagine getting stuck at the corn. Oh, the corn bit. No, corn stops because they're stopped. Even still, it'd be slightly terrifying. I'm starving.
A few moments later.
Child is on the loose in Monstropolis. A human child!
If witnesses are to be believed, there has been a child security breach for the first time in monster history.
We can neither confirm nor deny the presence of a human child here tonight.
I tried to run from it, but it picked me up with its mind powers and shook me like a doll.
It's true! I saw the whole thing!
Happy birthday, Smokesy Boo!
Oh, googly bear.
Hello again, guys. So we've done a couple of rides that we missed, such as like the Monsters Scare Floor, and we did Midway Mania. We've taken it quite chill today. We're all quite tired and knackered. We've done a lot of photo ops, And now we're about to go look around the shops for the last sort of hour that we've got here before we have to do the 11-hour flight home. I'm not looking forward to the flight, I'm going to be honest. But oh well. What was he saying? He was like, yeah, do it work mile.
One eternity later.
All packed up and ready to go. Hello guys, so I'm back home. I have been back home about a month at time of filming, and I thought to end this vlog I'd just do a little review of the trip. So I'm going to start with Universal Studios because that was my favourite day of the whole trip. I just vibed. I had an amazing time, like seeing Honeyduke's area again with it all covered in the snow. It was just so good, because the last time I'd seen that was in Florida, and I haven't been to Florida since 2017. Yeah, oh god, since 2017. That's a long time. So yeah, like going back into the Harry Potter area and doing the Harry Potter ride and being immersed and having a butterbeer, fight the hippogriff, that can get in the bin. But the rest of it was great. You know, Simpsons Krusty Land, like, so immersive. There's so much going on. Even if you just like sit and observe, and you know, they had Duff-toberfest, and we got to meet Bart and Homer. Bart was by far one of the best meet and greets I think I've ever had. I just adored hanging out with Bart. And the tram tour was so good. If you're going, make time for that tram tour. Yes, it's a long experience. It's going to take up like the best part of an hour, but it's so good. Like, I cannot express how good that was. So Universal was by far my favourite day. My least favourite day was the Warner Bros. Studio tour. It was heavily aimed at sort of TV shows like Gilmore Girls and Pretty Little Liars. We did get to go on like the car buggy tram, and they take you around the sets that they have as like a live active area, like big like outside sets. But a lot of it was like, if you look to your left, this house, If Your Magic Painted Blue, was used in this show. And it was like, I just didn't know any of the references that were being spoken about. So this bit is very personal, because if you're into Gilmore Girls and Pretty Little Liars, you're probably going to really enjoy that part of the tour, because a lot of it was based on that. And then there was just quite a few films that was like, oh, this bit was used in Back to the Future. And I haven't seen Back to the Future since I was a little kid, and I don't remember a lot of it. It's on my list to re-watch. And so it's kind of like, oh, that's cool. But I don't have a mental visual to pair with it. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. I was just like, oh, that's cool. So that part of the tour, just for me, wasn't a vibe. The girls really enjoyed it. They were taking plenty of pictures, lots of video. No video, because you're not allowed to video on there, but they're taking like loads of pictures. For me, the best bit was in like the studio stages, where we get to just walk around and see the props, the sets and the costumes that they've got available. You know, seeing Audrey Hepburn's costume from My Fair Lady was like a big highlight for me. Michael Jordan's from Space Jam. We got to sit on the sofa from Friends. We got to sit on the sofa from Big Bang Theory. That was kind of cool to me. Like, that was the enjoyable part. This was stuff that I knew. But yeah, the main bulk of the tour, like the selling point that you get to like drive around and be on the sets that have been used for real filming and are still being used for real filming, should have been the main drawing factor, and it wasn't. Yeah, so not my fave. That was my least favourite day. And then Disney. It was just really good. Oh, really immersive. Everyone was so friendly, although Californians, I'm not saying Americans in general, but Californians, from my experience, do not know how to recognise a British accent. Like, don't get me wrong, all four of us have got slightly different accents because we're all from different parts of Britain, which is why I know it can be confusing. But they generalised and always thought we were Australian. We're not. This is a British accent. Mine's probably the most basic of the British accents out of the four of us. Not Australian. And I'm not going to do an Australian accent because it would be awful. Yeah, so really friendly. The food was okay. I didn't particularly vibe with the food in Disneyland, California. I mean, it's not as bad as most of Paris's food. Paris is not known for its good food. But it also wasn't like great. Our first meal, which was at the wine terracotta something, I don't know, that was probably our worst meal of the whole trip. Like, it was generally just a bit meh. Food wasn't that great. It felt a bit overpriced. It felt like our server was trying to rush us through our meal so we'd leave. It just wasn't a good one. But the rides were brilliant. Rise of the Resistance is officially 100% my favourite ride ever made. It's so good. It's so immersive, and they do it so well. Like, the story, the characters, the lighting, the sound, the mood, the effects, it's all there. It's such a good ride. But second to that was Haunted Mansion, because oh my god, I got emotional, I was getting excited, I was squealing in the queue, the girls were looking at me like I was a weirdo, because I am. Like, that was something I've been wanting to do since I was a little kid. It's the original, it's the one that Walt worked on. It was the first one he had an idea for, and it had the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, so it's Tim Burton, and I love Tim Burton. He's my favourite director, and so I just obsessed, absolutely loved it. Just generally, the Disney parks were just really good. I'm slightly disappointed that they didn't do fireworks on a weekend, and they decided on the weekend, the only bit of the weekend we were there, that it was too windy, so they weren't going to do the fireworks. But if you looked at us, our hair wasn't even blowing, you couldn't even feel a breeze. I'm aware up high it's probably different, but it kind of ruined it a little bit, because the castle's so small and wide, it needs something above it. Yeah, so no fireworks, which was a bit upsetting. No parades. I think we saw one cavalcade and that was it. But they don't really do parades at the moment. And I also sat with the girls and was like, that's like a big part of the Disney magic, is these big parades. And I was like, am I wrong to think that? Because I know there was a big one when I was in Florida. Because I remember being a bit too excited and taking the worst pictures possible. And obviously Paris, I know for a fact they're there, so why not in the original park? I'm sure there's a very good reason. I'm sure the girls have probably told me and I've just forgotten. But yeah, it was a little disappointing. But I had such an amazing time. I feel very, very blessed and humbled that I get this opportunity to go and with my friends. And, you know, just a disclaimer, like, we paid for everything we did. None of this was gifted. You know, this was all of us saving up well over a year. Yeah, and it wasn't cheap. It wasn't too expensive. I think the whole trip per person was about £2,000, which for some people that's a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money, but when you are, I mean, I'm not solo, I've got Daniel, but you know, I am childless. I'm earning money. And I gave myself a long period of time to save. It was possible. And 100% doable. Yes, it meant foregoing a few Disney trips to Paris that I probably would have wanted. And it meant, you know, missing out a little bit of magic, you know, having a little bit of magic less often. But it was still possible to do it. And I'm very, very blessed that I was able to do this. Yeah. So, Disney parks, I would rate 4.5 out of 5. Universal's a 5 out of 5. And the Warner Bros. Studio Tour is probably, for me, a 2 out of 5. But that's my review. That's it. thank you so much for joining me on this journey for this trip. Thank you so much, as always, for, you know, liking, commenting, subscribing, watching. I really, really do appreciate it. It's a small channel, but it's something I'm really passionate about, and I want to keep making videos, and I want to share my content with more people. If you've got any suggestions or feedback, this is probably leading in for some trolls here, but oh, here we go. Leave it in the comments. Because I just want to keep making videos, and I want to keep improving and building and learning and all that jazz. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you. The next video coming up in this series will be a haul, which I actually filmed the day I landed, and that will be going up in the next few weeks. The reason it's not going to come directly straight away is because there's another little surprise being announced next week. Like and subscribe. Bye guys.